This is Celeste Claiborne, and this is video log number 10. We've made it this far. It's been some neat experiences getting to share with you guys. Just to recap, for those of you who this might be your first one you've seen, I've been taking some of the blogs that I've written in the last 2 years and just kind of discussing them in more detail, getting a little bit more personal with them. I love writing, and I still do, and I know that that's still something that God wants me to do, but about a year ago, I think, I was feeling like God was wanting me to be more vulnerable, and just show people my face, show people some real parts of my life that kind of teach me the things I write about and the way that God speaks to me and what He's showing me. And it's still helpful to write them all out because it kind of deepens the lesson in my own heart, but it's just been a neat process to get to share with you guys in this way what I've learned and why I wrote about it and how I might have been able to apply it after writing about it. So hope you've enjoyed it. If you missed my last video, it was I talked about a blog called Intimacy and Obedience. So if you'd like to go back and see that, or any of the other ones, they are on my YouTube channel. It's just Celeste Claiborne, Claborn, or you can find it on my Facebook page. So this blog that I'm recapping today, I wrote actually about a little less than a year ago, about May of last year, and it's called Compassion on the Narrow Road. I had been going through a lot of my dad's journals and notes in those few months and kind of reading through what he was talking about, and one of the big sections that he was writing about was called The Humanity of Jesus and different character traits that Jesus exhibited when he walked the earth that just showed us who God was and who the Father wanted him to exhibit to the world. And one of those characteristics was compassion. And it was just neat to hear what all Dad had written on that and how Jesus exemplified it. But anyway, one of the cool pictures that Dad wrote about that I just kind of fell in love with was the idea of showing compassion to people in need that God places specifically on this path that you're on in life, which hopefully is the narrow road, the path to the Christian walk, the path of following after Jesus, the path of becoming more and more Christlike, the path of sanctification once we get saved, the path that ends in the destination of Jesus and heaven and eternity with Him. So he kind of wrote about this picture of how God specifically places different people in need along our way. And sometimes when we're not thinking about it in the right way or having His perspective on things, we see those people as obstacles and we do not appreciate them being on our path. We kind of want them off our path. Even I, thinking about the narrow way, I get that it's sometimes hard to stay on that narrow path. I get that there's a lot of temptations and that Satan tries to pull us back to the wide road. But I still sometimes view the narrow path as just smooth. It's narrow, but it's smooth, and it's not bumpy, and it's not rocky, and there's, it's hard to stay on because it's narrow, but it's easy because it's just a smooth ride. And I'm wrong in that. There's a lot of obstacles in our Christian walk that either God's going to allow to be thrown in our way, or Satan even will throw in our way to try to get us off the path. However they come, though, God always has a way of using them to grow us and sanctify us even more, and hopefully use us to minister to others. And this is definitely one of the biggest examples that he can do that is by allowing us to reach out in compassion to people in need. I'm in the car right now with my son, and he is watching the video. Gavin, can you say hi?
No.
Oh, say hi.
No.
Okay. We had to go to the car because Daddy and my daughter are taking a nap, and he was waking them up. So we are in the car talking right now. He's watching a video. But Anyway, back to my story. God uses these obstacles sometimes that we view them as neat ways to grow us in Him. But if we're not looking at it like that, if we're seeing a person in need as just a way to slow us down in our progression of our going along on the narrow path, or in a way of slowing us down in accomplishing our dreams, or even in doing like what we think God's work is or what He's calling us to do, we sometimes just view it as a person in need as a hindrance to what we think God wants us to be striving for. And so instead of stopping and helping, sometimes we will choose to just go around them. But the truth, and this was the picture that Dad showed, the truth of having to go around or avoid a person in need that's on the narrow road that you're on, you have to step off the narrow road onto the wide road and go around and then get right back on. So we may think there's no harm in that as long as we do it real quick. Just step off, step back on, and we're back on the narrow road. We're back making good progress. We're back speeding ahead, and we're too worried about how fast we're going or how much we're progressing or how hard we're working, that we just missed that opportunity that God was giving us to grow even further in our sanctification. Because in the process of having to help someone and show compassion, unselfish, selfless compassion, I should say, we have to lay down our lives. We have to let God live through us. We have to see things His way. We have to love with His love. Everything about helping someone in need is sanctifying and does grow us and move us forward on the narrow path. And so avoiding it, if God's called you to help this person, avoiding it slows us down more than slowing down to help them. And we miss that a lot of times. And so then if we go around and then step off and step back on, and then another person comes up, we tend to start doing this more and more, and we get into this habit of just saying, oh man, they're messing up my race I'm trying to run here. Let me just go around and I'll get back on. And the more often that we step off and back on, the easier it becomes, and the less we begin to notice the difference in paths, the less we even begin to see what it did to us when we stepped off onto the wide road. And the more we begin to be drawn to and attracted to the wide road, because there's more room. We can run faster, maybe. We can avoid people better. We can not have as many people in our paths because there's more space. And we just see the benefits of the wide road, or we're deceived by the benefits of the wide road by thinking that it's actually getting us to our destination faster, when the truth is that we forget that the wide road is headed in a totally different direction. We forget about the destination. We're just so concerned about progress and our speed or our journey that we forget when we step off that we end up heading a totally different direction. And forward motion means nothing if the destination is not Jesus. And so it was just a good reminder that he gave this picture of recognizing that sometimes the obstacles that either he puts on our path or he allows to be on our path is what he has designed to progress us forward the most at that moment, or the fastest, or however you want to look at it, And a lot of times that is people in need. I have dreams that I want to accomplish. I have dreams that I feel like God wants me to accomplish, that he's placed in my heart, and I am pursuing those, and he wants me to pursue those. But sometimes in the process of that, I have a lot of people that need me. I have 2 toddlers right now. You saw one of them. And he needs me a lot, and I have one on the way. I have people who need me, and I do love that. It doesn't bother me all the time. I don't see them as obstacles, trust me, and I don't see them as hindrances. But there are times where I do get frustrated and thinking, man, I'm not getting time to just pursue my dreams or go after what I love what like passion that God's put in my heart for something else, or even like my writing or doing these videos. Like I have to prioritize over that sometimes to say, okay, I need to meet the need of this child first, and then I will do that later, you know. But just having this view of sometimes of the bad result of trying to avoid the needs of people.
Weather alert. Other warning around current
We can
location.
not see like how damaging it can be to our spiritual walks, and then we start to be subtly drawn off course because of how many times we keep trying to go around them or avoid them, and think somebody else will meet their needs, somebody else can take care of them. I gotta go, I got a race to run, I got a dream to catch, I got a purpose to fulfill, not recognizing that that's a huge part of our purpose. And so I just wanted to remind you guys of that. I wanted to kind of present this picture to you of the narrow road and the wide road, and what happens when we start to step off more and more frequently just to get ahead, just to gain some ground. And then if we step back on, we don't always realize how we've been affected by the time that we were off, the time that we were on the wide road. And so I wanted to present that picture, that people in need are not obstacles. Now, I certainly wanted to say that we are not called or capable of meeting every single person's need. That we're not, God doesn't want us to do that. You know, I would never pursue the dreams He's had for me if I felt like I had to meet every single person's need. Even Jesus, when He walked this earth, did not meet everybody's needs. He healed a lot of people, but there was still a whole lot of people sick. He welcomed a lot of people. He said, let the little children come to me. But he couldn't be in one place. He was only in one place in one time, and he couldn't be there physically or for the needs of every person around him. Now he can because he paid for all of our salvation. But in that sense, we are not called to meet everyone's needs, and we do not need to put that pressure on us and even sometimes use that as an excuse not to pursue our dreams. I could easily say, like, well, I'm just in this phase of life, I can't pursue any dreams, I just got to take care of my kids right now. And that's not right either. That's the other side of the balance, and that is not right either. God equips us to do way more than we ever thought we could do, but part of that does include taking care of the people that He's put along our path, or just end up on our path. And He has designed for the people around us, in being able to help them through His strength and His love to grow us, sometimes more than anything else, you know. And so I just wanted to encourage you guys today to find that balance. Don't put too much pressure thinking that you got to meet everybody's needs, but don't miss it either. Don't miss the people right in front of you, and try to go around them just because you think they're slowing you down, because you will face the effects of the wide road, and you might not recognize it. So I'm praying for you guys. I'm praying for wisdom and discernment. I'm praying that Satan will not deceive you in making you think that this person's just an obstacle. I'm praying that you would have the eyes of Jesus to see people in the way He saw them, and to allow Him to use you to reach out to them, and in the process become more Christlike. So hope you have a good week.